Привет из Odessa, Mama. Welcome to Odessa, Ukraine. I'm just down here at one of the city's beaches. You got the iconic Otrada Villa sign just behind me in the background. This is a very obvious place to come and relax during the day, as are all the big beach clubs. If it happens to be further down in Arcadia or maybe Langeron or maybe a Calaton beach. But in today's video, we're going to be diving into where are the 5 best places to go on a day trip with a lovely local girl. Where should you take them? Because this is obviously super obvious and not that romantic a spot. So let's get into it. Bye, Italy. So the first day trip that I can recommend is to come to the Kiev Sea. Kievsky More, as it's called locally. It's actually the Kiev Reservoir, and out here you have a few different options. It's actually going to be the first 2-day trips in reality, but I'm over on, let's call it the left bank, I think they refer to it here, of the reservoir. It's going to be on the eastern side, and on this side we're probably about an hour out from Kiev, from the center of Kiev. You have all these beach clubs, more than just beach clubs, actually I shouldn't call them that. They're very idyllic resorts out here, a little bit past the entrance to the reservoir on the eastern side. You have a, 5 or 6 of them, let's say, that line the, I was going to say coast, but the reservoir, the water, and then you have this kind of, I guess, canal that relieves the reservoir over on this side, and here you can go out and play on boats and jet skis and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool as well. Well, so it's a little bit more windy on the reservoir side. You see, I guess you see windsurfing going on, all those kind of water sports. So quite idyllic to come, and I think this is an excellent option for a first stop outside of Kiev. Come for the day, relax, get away from the big smoke of what is the massive metropolitan area of Kiev. Definitely a great spot to come and spend your day. Let's get into the second day trip, which is actually on the other side of this reservoir. Где мы?
Мы в резиденції Межигір'я.
Да, кто жил тут раньше?
Жив наш президент Янукович. Віце-президент.
Да. Вечний президент, так.
Ну, хочу сказати, він дуже гарно все зробив, облаштував. І тепер його народ тут відпочиває, катається на велосипедах.
Это парк. Сейчас, как Анжела сказала, да, ты думаешь, что ты самый важный элемент в этом видео, Анжела?
Ага.
So, here we are, taking a beautiful stroll along the river Dnipro. Just got that over there. Что ты думаешь, как место?
Я думаю, що це місце ідеальне для того, щоб відпочивати, насолоджуватися природою, особливо коли на вулиці тепло. Хочемо сказати Януковичу дякуємо.
Анжела, ти фан Януковича?
Я не фан його. Ну, якщо б він таке
сейчас.
не зробив би в Україні. Це ж добре, що він гроші не вивіз і не купив щось собі в Англії, правильно, дороге, а тут все побудував в Україні. В нього це забрали і тепер це все наше, правда?
Думаю, что ты хочешь мужчину, как Виктор Янукович, правильно?
Нет, конечно.
Не?
Он старый.
Только старый.
Он очень-очень старый. Он древний.
Сколько ему лет было?
Я не знаю.
Больше, чем меня?
Нет, я думаю.
So ironically, even though Yanukovych stole basically the money from the country in order to build this absolutely massive and super impressive royal, regal, shall we say, regal palace basically, nowadays it is the most beautiful park in Ukraine, in my opinion, and he kind of bequeathed it unexpectedly and definitely unwillingly to the people of Ukraine. So even though he obviously stole everything, it has left, I guess, some sort of legacy, and today it is also the Museum of Corruption. They've turned his house into up there. Getting outside of Kiev to the south a bit, about 90 minutes down the road, I am in the town of White Church. Over here, Biele Tserkva in Ukrainian. And this town has a population of about 200,000 people, and it has a lot of nice churches. And on top of that, a really beautiful park called Alexandria Park. And here was kind of, I guess, the extent of the Polish influence in what is now today Ukraine. The Branicki hetman, which is kind of like local rulers, they were bequeathed, or they gained this territory around this town here, and they built huge estates. They were extremely wealthy, and the town is a really nice place to walk around. It's got a summer and a winter palace. The summer palace is down in the park. We're going to go to that a little bit later, and it's kind of a cool place to come and take a romantic stroll around on a summer's evening here pretty close to Kiev. So let's go take a walk around. So I'm in a really beautiful park, kind of on the outskirts of Biele Tserkva. It's called the Alexandria Park, and it is a pretty sweet place to come to when you got a beautiful summer's evening like this. Not even that many people here, considering how nice it is and the weather, and the fact it's mid-July when I'm shooting this. Pretty nice to walk around. You got obviously kind of botanical gardens. Что мы можем сказать от этого парка?
Здесь очень красивые лебеди, очень красивая природа.
Да.
И это, можно сказать, исторический парк, потому что здесь очень много, ну не очень много относительно, с другими парками есть историческая архитектура. Такие вот дела. Обращайся, если нужно что-то еще рассказать.
Окей.
Пока.
Папа. Что ты сделала, Анжела? Ты упала.
Сюда можно парой тоже ездить. Я думаю, девушке вашей понравится.
Oh. And this is about 90 minutes, as I said, outside of Kiev, so Biele Tserkva. There is big competition for these guys here, which might explain why it's not so packed, is the fact that, you know, you go on ahead another hour maybe, and you're going to be in Uman, and there you have Sofiska Park. That is kind of cheating a little bit, I guess, to say that it's a day trip location, because it's not really a day trip from Kiev and not really a day trip from Odessa. It's actually more or less between the two of them, but it's right just off the main road, the main highway between Odessa and Kiev. So it's a day trip in the sense if you are traveling with a Ukrainian girl from Kiev down to Odessa, going down for, say, the weekend, a long weekend, or just to relax for a little bit down by the seaside, down by the Black Sea in Odessa, then an afternoon in Sofiska Park in Uman is definitely a must, because it's very easy just to pass it by, and you know, normally by car it takes between 4.5 and 5.5 hours to get from Kiev to Odessa, depending on the traffic. But a perfect way to break that up, Ukraine's most beautiful park, Sofiska. You can see behind me, just this building here, that is the Bessarabian Market. Now, Bessarabia, maybe you're not familiar with that is. It is an historic territory that mainly consists of modern-day Moldova, but also part of Odessa Oblast. So that's the region to the west of Odessa, and that is my final day trip tip, is to go out to Bessarabia or Odessa Oblast, to Budzak, the historical region, because out there you have quite a few interesting things to do and to see that are within touching distance of Odessa, the city itself. For example, you can go out to a vineyard. The best wine in Ukraine is located out there. You've got vineyards like Shabo, which are just 90 minutes from Odessa. Also, you got Kolonits, my favorite wine from Ukraine, also located in Budzak. You have lots of great local produce. Cheese production is a big thing, so you can go and do some degustacja, do the wine, do the cheese, and to cap it all off, you can go out to the beautiful Ackerman Fortress, which is located in Belgorod Dniprovsky. So it's about 2 hours from Odessa, the city. Beautiful there at sunset, I really recommend that. And that is, for me, the best day trip from Odessa itself, because there are other places you can go that are not super far from Odessa, but not really a day trip. It's going to take you about 4-5 hours to go to the others. So for me, I think the trip out to Buchak is the best day trip to do from Odessa. So there you have my tips for the 5 best places to go on a day trip here in Ukraine, basically. Kiev and Odessa, they are the 5 places that I recommend. Now, I did start the video by saying you can be more creative and actually go there with a lovely Ukrainian lady that you've met. But realistically, you know, I've been hanging out here in Eastern Europe and in Ukraine in particular for over a decade, and it's actually, like, it took me this summer to have actually gone to all of those 5 places. So being a bit more realistic about it, you need to be spending a lot of time here in Ukraine in order to get around to going to all 5 at least. You might be able to do one as an option if you come here for a short trip, but you know, I see that amongst my friends and my clients it does take a while to get around to, and that's one of the big benefits of coming here and actually spending 3 to 12 months a year is, and in depression you get to really see and visit all the hidden gems of this great country. So going forward, I have my high-level consultation group for guys who want to spend 3 to 12 months per year here in Ukraine. It's called Slavic Utopia Secrets, and it's on demand below. You can go click there and invest in it straight away if you want. There's a link down below in the video description. And in general, I open it up for the live format about once a year, and the next time will be opened up is coming very soon after I release this video. It's probably going to be in the next month or 2. So in order to be notified of that, you need to be on my free mailing list. I only open up my live programs to my most loyal fans who are on that free list. And the way to get on that, down below there is a link in the description to this video as well. And there, in exchange, you get a free gift, which is the Tsar's hotspots for Kiev and Odessa. So not day trips like you obviously watched in this video, but actually the hotspots for those cities. It's down below, it's completely free, so it's a bit of a no-brainer in any case. And then very soon you'll get notified of when I relaunch the live version of Slavic Utopia Secrets Ukraine. So looking forward to hearing your stories about your day trips here in Ukraine, and maybe we see each other live on the next season of Slavic Utopia Secrets Ukraine. Until the next video, do pobачення, до свидання. Ciao ciao from a very hot and sweaty summer's evening here in Kiev.
Tsar Experience.